Hi, I'm Scott, and this is my shed. I like to make things. I like to make things for a whole variety of reasons. Sometimes because I just can't afford what's out there. Sometimes it's because I don't quite like what's out there and I want to customize it, or I'm just being a bit fussy. Sometimes I want the satisfaction of making it myself, learning a new skill, and often it's a bit of all three. I've done all sorts of things. I built a steamed, ribbed, skin on frame canoe. And I mostly built that because all the plastic ones were just too heavy for me to get up on the roof of my car on my own and take my kids out on the river. And they were, I think the oldest was about 12 when I finished that. I've built wood fired ovens. I built this one for my 40th birthday and I fed 80 people with it. It's kind of small though. So I built a bigger one and it had work surfaces and cupboards and a barbecue. Then I built this one for one of the local youth groups. Finally, when I got to where I am now, I built another oven. It was under the veranda. I wanted a flue. I wanted a proper door on it so I could do cooking with the fire out. I've also made quite a few knives. Pattern welded knives are really nice to give as gifts. Sometimes you just want a certain shape too. So these are some of the ones that I've made. I made one for a friend in the US, and I made one for my nephew. And these knives are made for when we go hunting. I used to do a fair bit of wood turning when I was a kid. Dad had a wood lathe. In fact, he ended up with two. And a few years ago, Dad just got too old to use them. This equipment all ended up in my workshop. I started playing with it, but I was really disappointed with the results. I was getting a lot of grain tear out. And then I discovered Stuart Batty and Ashley Harwood, one of his students. Look them up on the internet, they're great. And I was totally hooked. So I decided I'm going to build myself a big lathe. I've got access to a fair bit of timber, so I want to make something that'll handle stupidly big and possibly quite unbalanced stuff. So I'm going to build something that's got 450 above the bed, which is a 900, turn a 900 bolt. I can't see myself ever building anything, making anything bigger than that. It's going to be 1100 long, so I can do a nice long table leg should I decide to, or make myself a handle for a sledgehammer or whatever I need to do. It's going to be about 3 horsepower, and it'll have speed variability completely infinitely variable from 10 through to about 1100, 1200 RPM, I think is the plan. And I've got a motor and speed controller on order already. These are my dad's old lathes. Dad was given this one as a 21st birthday present. He's 81. It was second-hand when he got it. It's well past its use by date. It doesn't have a proper way of attaching a chuck. This is the lathe that Dad built a few years ago, quite a few years ago, as a bowl lathe. When he built it, it didn't have this section here at all. It had just had an arm that came up to hold the tool post. It was very unstable. It also didn't have the base plate and outriggers, and even now needs to be bolted to the floor if something's out of balance. It was also unpainted. The motor, I'm not sure what it came out of. It's probably older than me. It doesn't always start, so it's got problems. And as you can see, it's got a what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4 stack stepper pulley system. The slowest I can make this thing run is about 280 RPM. But the major problem with it is a structural problem. You probably can't see, but that head is not quite straight. So the front actually leans forward a tiny bit, and it's very difficult to align that with the bed. I've done my best. And more importantly, I've got a dial indicator here set up, and hopefully this will show it. As you turn it, that face, which is the face that the chuck seat's against, is not square. It's got quite a bit of run out. I'm not sure if it's got a bent shaft, whether it's just that face is not machined accurately, but given the other problems, I'm not prepared to chase it. So this one is also going to get retired. So the reason that run out matters is because when it's a little bit here, it becomes a lot out here. You should be able to see that as that climbs. Just pull it out. And then it goes back. So that's from 90. So that's already, what's that? 0.4 of a millimeter, and bring it out here somewhere. And first of all, it becomes quite unmanageable, but then when you reposition the bowl, you have a whole lot of run out. It's not indexed, so you can't just move things around or take it off and put it back on. So that's the final reason. The lathes have some issues, but that doesn't mean they're useless. These are some of the bowls that Dad has made over the years. And on the smaller spindle lathe, he made these table legs, which are on my dining table. And I've managed to make a few things too. I'm fairly proud of them, especially this piece here, which at one point was what they call euphemistically a funnel, because I cut too far through the back. But I managed to save it. I reckon it looks pretty natty. So I'm looking to make a lot more of that sort of stuff, and hopefully you'll follow along. I've got little piles of timber ready to be turned, floating all over the place. I've got this one, and there's this one. There's this one here. There's another one there. They're both pistachio. That's a piece of radiata pine. It's a fair size, as you can see. That's a 60-litre bucket sitting on top of it. There's this one here, more pistachio. Not sure what will come out of that. Actually, that might be walnut. And then I've got these rounds, which have been sitting for quite a while. Zoom out on those. They were just sitting down the side of the shed for about 5 years. And last but not least, I've got these. This is a collection of burls. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 burls. And these were the final straw. My friend Tim, when he saw these and knew I was going to turn them on my lathe, begged me not to, unless I could get the lathe down below 60 RPM. So this was the final straw for deciding to build the new lathe. This is the material that will be used for the lathe strong back and bed, and for the headstock. This here is a piece of 16mm plate, which, believe it or not, is a piece of scrap. Equally, this 150 by 250 by 5mm wall piece of rectangular hollow section is also a scrap. It was used as a brace. I managed to buy a couple of unequal angles. Unequal angle has a couple of advantages. One, it tends to come in a thicker section, and two, it is doesn't have the sides are straight, so it doesn't have the forging angles on it that you'd get on a normal angle iron. And these are just some bits of rectangular hollow section that have been lying around. That'll be the legs. I'm going to use this 150mm tube down through the strong back to allow me to evacuate shavings. These pieces of hollow bar, you see there's 2 of them there, and a left-hand thread Acme with a nut will form the basis of the tailstock. So why am I videoing this? There's lots of pictures of things I've done. Well, first, it's something new for me. I've never done it before. I think it'll be fun. Also, this is probably going to be one of the biggest things I've ever built. I think it'd be nice to document it. And lastly, there's lots of people out there making canoes, wood-fired ovens, knives, and bowls on the internet. What there aren't is people making large and relatively sophisticated wood lathes. So someone might find it useful. So that's the plan. But I'm not an expert and I'm not giving you advice. This is what I'm doing. And remember, every 15-minute job is one broken bolt away from being a 9-hour saga. So now that you've wasted 20 minutes on the YouTubes, go out in the shed, fix something, make something. It doesn't have to be great, just needs to be better than last time. Have a good one. We'll see you next time.